Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, dear guests. Welcome at the second day of the ninth edition of Prague European Summit. It's my pleasure to be with you today as well as yesterday during the whole afternoon. My name is Aneta Zachová and I'm Editor-in-Chief of Euractiv Czech Republic and also coordinator of this year's Prague European Summit program and main moderator of today's event. The same issue as yesterday. This European Summit is dedicated to the topic of resilience. We also named this edition as Reshaping Europe Towards Greater Resilience Amid Global Crisis. During the second day of summit, we will also engage in panel discussion in European chats, and also we will discuss within closed roundtable debates. And all our discussions will be around three main topics. The first one, economic resilience, the second, political resilience, and the third, forward resilience. Let me also point out that this event is organized by two leading Czech think tanks, the Institute of International Relations and the European Institute for European Policy. And this event is co-organized with institutional partners, the Office of the Government of the Czech Republic, representation of the European Commission in the Czech Republic, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Czech Republic, Hans Seidler Stiftung, European Investment Bank, and City of Prague. We would also like to thank to our main partners, Mercedes-Benz Praha and Institut Français, for their support, as well to our other partners. Regarding today's programs, we will start with opening words, then we will continue with plenary discussion on twin transition, and we will continue with economic topics also after that. At 11 o'clock, we will have closed roundtable discussion for those who were invited about net zero as the next industrial revolution. At 11:10, we will gather also here to discuss the new EU tools to support recovery of European economy and also the twin transition. Then we will continue with lunch, and after lunch break, we will welcome here again the Vice President of the European Commission, Věra Jourová, with participants of this year's Future European Leaders Forum. At the end of today's program, we will finish our discussions with the role of medium and small-sized state. We will also discuss EU elections and also EU reform and enlargement. So you can see there are many topics for today, so I hope that we will all enjoy fruitful discussions. And before we start with the first panel, I would like to invite here to the stage Mats Braun, Director of Institute of International Relations, for his opening words. So please welcome Mr. Braun.
Thank you very much, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here again for the third day of our conference. The topic of this conference is Reshaping Europe Towards Greater Resilience Amid Global Crisis. We spoke a lot about the future of Europe yesterday. Reshaping Europe is, of course, a term which can include several different aspects. During yesterday's debate and also during the Tuesday session, we focused largely on the Russia's war against Ukraine, which I think is something that we all understand, since sadly enough, this war is a defining moment for Europe and for the future shape it will take. There was a quite heated discussion yesterday as well regarding the European Union as an actor, if the European Union is turning into a geopolitical actor or not. I think one of the aspects of that discussion is that I think many of us think of different things when we think of the European Union as a geopolitical actor. But it's about the concept itself, geopolitics, which can take very different meanings. I think if we go to the world of academia, the only thing everyone would really agree to is that geopolitics stresses the role of geography and stresses the role of power. And then there are many things you can add to that, leading to very different understandings of what we mean when we refer to the European Union as a geopolitical actor or not so. Today we will start with two panels that highlight economic challenges and the twin transformation the European Union is going through, referring to digitalization, climate change. And I think the main question here is how to achieve sustainable development. And I think as a beginning here, it is good to remember that what that term actually means. What does it mean to strive for sustainable development? We can go back to the 1980s and the report by the so-called Brundtland Commission, the commission headed by the former Norwegian Prime Minister Gro Harlem Brundtland, and that United Nations Commission defined sustainable development as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. I just think this is good to keep in mind while we discuss the twin transformations and economic challenges. Of course, the existential challenge, global one, is linked to climate change, the climate crisis. Now, in difference to the military security threats to the European Union we discussed yesterday, the climate crisis is actually one where the European Union is fairly good equipped to deal with it, at least in the sense that the European Union was quick to come up with a desire to be a leader, a global leader, on mitigating greenhouse gas emissions, to mitigate the climate change. And it's quite well equipped because it could do so by by setting up ambitious targets and then rely on regulations in order to deliver. And the European Union might not be good at being a geopolitical actor by now. We can discuss that. But I think most agree it's quite an efficient regulatory power. And in that sense, it has had quite a good starting point, and perhaps for that reason also selected climate as an area where it wanted to be ambitious and take a leading role in the world. And if we want to be optimistic here, we can say that so far the European Union has been successful in delivering on its goals when it comes to the Kyoto Protocol targets of the European Union, when it comes to the targets later set for 2020, including the work within the European Union's climate and energy package, which was provided in 2008-2009. The question now is, of course, will the European Union be able to reach its ambitious targets for 2030 and 2050? That includes the reduction of emissions by 55% by 2030, and actually reaching the goal of carbon neutrality by the year 2050. Skeptics would say that the European Union and others thus far has mainly collected so-called low-hanging fruits, innovations, reductions of emissions done through technological innovation with some help of economic crisis. And the question is, will we be able to reach that ambitious goal of 55% by 2030, and even more so, the goal of carbon neutrality by 2050? We have one European chat today as well devoted to the European elections. And when we speak about this climate agenda, the main task probably might be to find a consensus in the society about these measures, find the support for taking measures. And elections, of course, will be crucial for how this path will further develop. not only the elections to the European Parliament, obviously, also, and perhaps even more importantly, many of the national elections. Well, to conclude here, we are, as was discussed several times yesterday as well, living in times of big changes, and the European Union has an ambitious agenda ahead of it. I will end by asking a question: if how many of you believe that the European Union in year 2030 will have 36 member states and has managed to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions by 55% compared to the year of 1990. Of course, you don't know if you should answer this question or not, and we are a little bit too big group to have a discussion here. I will leave it as a question to think about. My own answer would be, it would be very difficult, but not impossible. So let's see what the future will bring us. Okay, I think it's time to open up for the first panel discussion of today's conference. I'm very happy to see all of you here, and I'm looking forward to listening to all the great speakers we have in the program for today. Thank you very much.